The failed King County Regional Homelessness Authority shouldn't even exist. Its budget should be zero because it shouldn't exist. So the Center Square has a headline out today that I'm actually happy to see. Don't care, literally don't care, that the King County Regional Homeless Authority plans 22% staff reductions amid a $4 million shortfall because they're way too bloated as it is. And much like the conversation we were just having, they haven't made the problem they were intended to solve any better. In fact, they've made it worse. So they should have to cut staff. They should get less money. And if their argument is going to be, well, oh my gosh, this will mean that we can do less for the homeless population, that might actually be a good thing. Because with the amount of money you've had, you've made more homeless people. So maybe if we give you less money, there will be less homeless people. Because the homeless industrial complex really is designed to keep people in homelessness. From the Center Square, the King County Regional Homeless Authority plans to implement a decrease in its overall workforce amid the projected 2026 budget shortfall. The decision comes at a time of anticipated federal funding cuts and budget challenges from Seattle and King County. Now, they attribute the shortfall to a few factors: lapse of one-time pandemic-related federal funding, and then what's happening at the federal level with President Donald Trump, which I'll get to in a moment. But also on the pandemic thing, this is why you don't build pandemic funding into your overall budget and workforce. This was discussed across all sectors. It's like, you're getting one-time pandemic funds. Gee, maybe we shouldn't use those to pay for an employee. Maybe we shouldn't use those to grow because that money's going to go away. Crazy. In a governing board meeting on Monday, the CEO, Kelly Kinnison, said initial actions taken by the King County Regional Homelessness Authority to help address the budget shortfall included a hiring freeze and extremely limited travel. Why do you need to travel at all? Literally, there's no reason.
It's King County. It should be all within 20 miles.
It's the King County Regional Homeless Authority. There's no reason you need any sort of travel budget whatsoever. It says the agency also significantly reduced its use of consultants and moved some staff from less consequential positions to more operational roles. Why do you have positions that you would describe as less consequential? It's a taxpayer-funded program. If there's a job, that should mean that the job is necessary, not like, optional. It also said in there that they have consultants. You have 100 full-time employees. As the King County Regional Homelessness Authority, why are we paying consultants for anything? So as I mentioned, they're blaming part of this on President Donald Trump, of course. And what they'll do is they'll say, when homelessness inevitably gets worse next year, which it's getting worse every year, so why wouldn't it get worse next year? They'll say, well, that's because Donald Trump took money from us, and people will believe them. Of course, the president put out an executive order on homelessness and the homeless industrial complex, basically trying to rein this failed housing first policy in. The order directed funding to ensure that individuals camping on streets and causing public disorder and that are suffering from serious mental illness or addiction are moved into treatment centers, etc. So it really wanted to focus on, getting away from funding things that are going to housing first and instead wants to fund things that are actually going to fix the problem. Center Square says King County Regional Homelessness Authority's new plan reduces its administrative budget by approximately $3 million and its administrative office from 106 full-time positions to 84. Kinnison said the agency expects to see a cap on federal spending for permanent supportive housing as part of President Trump's executive order, redirecting federal funding from Housing First. This means the agency could potentially lose $23 million in federal funds from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. But again, it's not, first of all, I do believe they should lose all their money. I've already said that, right? So they're going to very conveniently, if homelessness increases, they're going to use this to blame President Donald Trump. But the underlying reason for their failure is very simple. The underlying reason for their failure is you have people like former Governor Jay Inslee, current Governor Bob Ferguson, and the former King County executive, Dow Constantine, who continue to claim that the fundamental cause of our homeless crisis is a lack of affordable housing, which we know it is not. Here's Dow Constantine in his final State of the County address in April.
We know too well that many of our neighbors simply do not have a safe place to call home. While many would like to argue otherwise, homelessness is at its core a housing issue. Thank you.
Ridiculous.
We're advancing multiple strategies to bring more people inside, including our Health Through Housing initiative.
No agency that believes that should get a dime of money to address the homeless crisis. And part of the problem is we call it the homeless crisis. It's a drug crisis. And the other thing that I think this shows me is their freak out over this, right? Oh my God, our budget is going down and stuff, is the fact that their budget every year should decrease. Because, right, they're tasked with solving the homeless crisis. And in fact, they said that they were going to get like virtually no homeless people in downtown Seattle like in the first 2 years. And of course that didn't happen. Sorry, I have something in my eye. Their budget should decrease every year. Rather than planning for increases, should they not be planning for decreases? Because we should have a decreased number of homeless people on the streets. Their budget should be built in to gradually decrease over time. But it's not. Why? Because they don't intend to solve the homeless crisis. That was never the intent. If it was the intent, their budget would already be set to gradually reduce over time. It's just ridiculous.